It's a $90 billion global business. Digital ads have overtaken all other forms of advertising, promising to measure views and effectiveness more accurately. But is that really the case?
I may be alone here, but I would say digital advertising is not very effective. I would say it has the opportunity to be super effective, but today I would say that oftentimes it's not even as effective as buying television or print or outdoor. So for example, when we buy television, every time you pay for an ad, it actually appears in the program, believe it or not. Whereas digital, if you buy an ad, it may never have a chance to be on the screen. So check for television. Measuring audience, some sort of panel is used and the households are vetted. And there aren't fake households, they're real households. Whereas digital, you've got this problem with bots and you might be targeting bots instead of real people. So again, television, you don't have that problem. And then you think about things like brand safety. There are governing bodies in every country that actually look at the content and make sure that the content meets certain standards. With the internet, there are no standards.
Retailer John Wannamaker famously said, "Half my advertising is wasted, I just don't know which half." He died nearly a century ago, but by all accounts we're still no closer to answering his dilemma, particularly with digital ads.
If you think about it, what he's saying is that if I had a XY graph and X represented chance of working and Y represented the percentage ads I'm buying, it would be this perfect bell curve right around 50%, where half of them worked, half of them didn't work. The reality is, with digital, we now are buying ads that have no chance of working because they're not in view, because they're fraudulent, because they're on content that's harmful for a brand. And in that case, what we're actually saying is there's now a negative part to that X graph that never existed before. And so that whole curve shifted over. So now, instead of half your ads having a chance to work, it's a fraction of your ads have a chance to work.
So what's the problem, and how can we better improve effectiveness measurement?
I think we made some decisions very early on in the industry, things to measure. For example, an impression was used as an ad served. And what we're finding now is that's probably not the right atomic unit to use for trading. Well, the good news is that this is all reversible. There's now technology out there that will help an advertiser make sure that every ad they buy has a chance of working in digitally, and that's making sure that you're eliminating fraud. It's making sure that when you're buying on content, the content is meeting your standards of what's suitable for your brand. And then finally, it's focusing on making sure every ad meets a minimum threshold of viewability. A lot of times people use the MRC from the US as a guidelines, and that's 1 second for a display ad and 2 seconds for a video ad.
And that means once you've properly measured views, you end up with better data.
Ideally, we can start to leverage digital data in the way it's supposed to, which is figure out which ads are actually working, which creative needs to be in front of what audience for how long in order to actually influence the client and drive more sales. But we can't do that until we have clean data. And what I mean by that is, unless we get rid of the fraud and we get rid of the impressions that aren't in view and never were in view, it's really hard to figure out what's working, because we'll end up making assumptions that lead to just bad decisions. The other piece that's super important is creative. Not every creative is developed the same, and some creative will take longer to influence a client, and some creative will take a shorter amount of time. So it's not just understanding how long a brand needs to be in view, how long a specific creative needs to be in view.
So what's Scott's advice to marketers?
The advice is, let's first make sure we're protecting your brand. And so getting back to zero, getting back to the point where every ad you are buying has a chance of working. And every brand needs to do that out in the industry. And the good thing is we're seeing most brands now recognize that, so they're on that journey. Once they do that, once you have clean data, then let's start looking at things like time with creative and figuring out like what's leading to better outcomes.
Hello, I'm James Wright. Thanks for watching Marketing Media Money. To check out more online videos, just click on the boxes and don't forget to subscribe to the CNBC Live channel at the bottom of the screen.